Hello guys, welcome to a new video on Tower of God New World. And in this video, I'm going to do the character review for Yasratcha. I'm going to go over the usual points, so we're going to talk about how good this unit is, then we're going to look at the skills, revolution, exotic equipment, gear, ignition weapon, rapport, and finally some team recommendations. I'm going to start immediately with the first point, so how good is Yasratcha? I would say that Yasratcha is a very good unit. He can counter a lot of those annoying enemies we encounter in Adventure, and is going to also deal a lot of damage. He can act as both a tech unit and a sub DPS fairly easily without too much investment, and he could also act as a main DPS, but for that I haven't seen any team that were running him as a main DPS without an Albelda linked. So if you don't have an Albelda Revolution 5, going Yasratcha main DPS is going to be tricky, if not impossible. So bear that in mind if you need a main DPS and you don't have a Albelda Revolution 5, Yasratcha is not really going to work out that well for you. But yeah, outside of that, I would say Yasratcha is really good, again, regardless of investment. At 0 dupes, you can already charm an enemy and bring them into your team, making them pretty easy to kill. That's unfortunately not going to work on a few different types of enemies. The first one being enemies that are immune to status effects. So if you cannot apply Fascinate on them, obviously you're not going to bring them into your team. If the enemy is also like untargetable at the start of the battle, you're not going to be able to charm them, which is also kind of unfortunate, I would say. But he has ways to counter those enemies as well. So with the right teams, he can deal with them very easily. It's just not going to be a direct counter, let's say. Still, as I mentioned, his value is absolutely insane. He can counter units like Tenkats, Garam, and other super annoying enemies. I would say before floor 81, you won't really need him that much, from my point of view. But after that, he's going to come in handy very often. I wouldn't like go for dupes on this guy if you are on a new account. So if you don't have a lot of SSR plus units built, I don't think going for dupes on Yasratcha is really that good. But if you have an advanced account and you already have most of the SSR plus supports that you need built, and most of the SSR plus DPS units that you're going to use built as well, and also the family heads, then this guy is definitely a good addition. But again, if you don't have any of that, you're just started out, I would just stop at 0 dupes Yasratcha, and that's going to be good enough from my point of view. So yeah, that's more or less all I wanted to say for the first point, and I would say we can have a look at the skills now. We're going to start as usual from the passive, and the passive is pretty simple. So at the start of the battle, Yasratcha is going to inflict the mark of feline sight on the enemy in the position mirroring his. And that enemy is going to receive laceration stacks whenever Yasratcha deals damage to them, and their magic resistance is going to be decreased by 20% for each stack. It's 12% at level 1, which is still pretty good, and there is a max of 5 stacks that cannot be removed with debuff removal skills. This is pretty massive. And when the marked target is killed, Yasratcha becomes invisible for 3 seconds, and then is going to inflict the mark again on an enemy with the lowest HP, and cast Daze, which is an active skill that is very important, that we're going to look at in a second. Let's also quickly read the revolution. I would say that's really trash, so it doesn't matter that much. But the first part is just immunity to energy decrease, which is pretty solid, and then he gets a barrier equal to 70% of the damage dealt by his skills. That lasts for 5 seconds. Okay, for survivability, but nothing really too insane. So again, revolution is not really that great on this guy. Then we have the first active skill. He's going to deal a percentage of his attack as damage and steal 200 energy. Then a Shinsu Claw is going to appear and scratch the target 4 times, dealing every time 100 energy, which is a total of 600 energy. This is really good. And that's all this skill does. There is really nothing else to it. So it's solid. He's often going to use it before the first special move or just right after the first one. It kind of depends, especially on your investment, if he's Rainbow 5 or not, but definitely a really good active skill. Then we also have Daze. This is the core of this guy's kit. And Daze is going to fascinate the enemy with the mark of feline sight, feline, whatever, for 5 seconds. So very long crowd control. And we're going to see in the Exodia Cayman there is going to be something to make it even better. And then he's going to summon a familiar cat where the target was standing, provoking nearby enemies every second for 5 seconds. And you can have a maximum of one cat on the field. Fair. And while using the skill, Yasratcha cannot be targeted for attacks, and he recovers 500 energy while standing still. So this guy is not going to move basically until the target is close by, and after those 5 seconds are gone. But still, really, really good, and he's going to get a lot of energy, which allows him, as soon as he leaves this state, to be able to use the special move, which is going to be really, really important. So really good skill, not much we can say. And he's going to use this one immediately at the start of the battle. So he's going to apply the mark on an enemy and then use this Daze skill. Unfortunately, it's not acting like Anna Bunny, for example. So it's not really going to draw aggro from enemies that easily. If the enemies are dashing forward like they are close range units, they are easily going to dodge the cat. So that's not reliable for grouping, but still really, really good. So yeah, amazing skill. It's also going to apply easily the max stacks from the special move, and we're going to see that those stacks are really, really important. So the special move is going to basically just transform his right arm and make him invincible, and is then going to deal 1600% of his attack as damage to enemies within range. Is just an okay AoE, but you don't really care. This damage is not going to do anything to the enemies anyway. And then it's going to stun them for 3 seconds. This is a bit more important. And then it's going to deal 15% of the target's max HP as additional damage for each stack of laceration on the target. So it's only going to apply to the target and not to all enemies hit in the AoE. And yeah, it's capped against bosses, whatever. Unfortunately, the stacks are going to be lost after every single use of the special move. Obviously, if you hit the enemy with the stacks. So that's unfortunate, but it kind of makes sense. You can easily reapply them anyway. And for 10 seconds while the transformation of the right arm lasts, you're going to get swiftness increase and lifesteal increase. It's okay. And during the transformation, he's also going to get a 50% incoming damage decrease. Nothing super important, so whatever. That's a bit unfortunate from my point of view. Revolution is really not that great on him. And yeah, that's more or less the skill set. Is going to be really good. Like you select a target by placing this guy in the mirroring position. He's going to apply the mark, charm them, immediately applying 4 stacks of laceration. And then the target is going to come to Yasratcha. Yasratcha is going to stop kind of sleeping with max energy, cast the special move, which is going to hit them, and then apply the 5 stacks here. So that's 75% max HP damage. And max HP damage ignores the enemy resistance and the enemy defense. So that's basically true damage. It can only be decreased by like damage taken decrease effects, which are not really that frequent, but are some. So yeah, really, really good damage. And yeah, that's more or less it for the skill set. I would say now we can have a quick look at Revolution. We already read the effects, but I'm going to talk about which kind of investment you want to make here. Meantime, let me also move this one to the right. And we have it here. Okay. So in this case, I would say accuracy is important if you don't have enough accuracy to hit the enemies. In my case, I had to do it. And everything else is worthless, basically. For damage, you don't care because max HP damage is not affected by that. Attack, I don't think you need to link Yasratcha to any unit that targets the highest attack unit. So to me, this is irrelevant so far. But yeah, again, pretty worthless. Crit rate, again, not really useful. Defense is going to be invincible for most of the time, I would say. So it's not really going to be that important. These two could be good, and potentially you could avoid using Albelda with him if you were to go for both max cooldown reduction and the bonus elimination energy. I haven't tested, as we can see here, So I cannot say for certain, but there is a possibility. Still, I think it's better just not to invest on anything. This guy is just good at base. And yeah, we already saw the main nodes. They're just trash. So yeah, that's all for Revolution. For the exclusive equipment, this is going to be pretty important. We have crit damage increase. This is basically worthless, so I don't know why they did that. Mainly for PvP, probably where the attack portion is actually relevant. Then we have level 1, is also pretty much worthless. It's going to get magic pierce increased by 40% for 12 seconds when using these. These, again, doesn't matter. This is only for the attack percent portion of the damage, which is not really going to be that useful. So, whatever. Then we have level 2, that is really, really important. This is going to improve days, making Fascination always land and unremovable by status effect removal skills. So that last part is really, really good. If there is an enemy that can cleanse this kind of effect, doesn't matter because you're going to always apply it anyway. If the enemy is immune, it's not going to work. Unfortunately, it's just to prevent the removal of the debuff. So yeah, still pretty good. Then we have level 3. He's going to become immune to status effects while using daze. So he's going to just stand there and you cannot interrupt him. Fine. Not really too important. He's already untargetable. But yeah, okay. It's an okay level 3. Then for level 4, we have a special move pierce increased by 40% every time he inflicts a mark of feline sight, max 4 stacks. So this is only applying whenever you kill the marked enemy and he has to apply it again to another enemy. So it's not that massive, and again, it's not really going to work that well with the max HP portion of the damage. So also level 4, nothing too insane. I will say though, this is going to be a pain for enemies Yasratcha, even though I'm already facing him and he wasn't really that hard to deal with. So whatever. I would say this time around is a win for us and not so much for the enemy. And yeah, that's all for exclusive equipment. Now for gear, as usual, if you need accuracy or evasion, go for those. I only went for accuracy because I'm really running low on it. Crit rate and crit damage in his case is basically worthless, so I would say do not invest in that. And magic and physical resistance is good because I would recommend running this guy with resistances. So overall, pretty easy and pretty cheap to build also on the gear part. For ignition weapon, I would say you could potentially run that thing called Mago, but again, Mago is going to boost only the non-max HP portion of the damage, which is almost irrelevant. So at the end of the day, I think is not really recommended. The only set I could see on him would be Barry, basically. Just give him a second life, that's going to be more than good enough. So yeah, that's more or less it for the ignition weapon. For the main stat, as I already mentioned, just go resistances and you're done. And yeah, for Rapport, as usual, if you need the accuracy, go level 6. Otherwise, you can also just stop at level 4. That's always the usual thing. So level 4, basically always. Level 5 and 6, only if you need the evasion or the accuracy. And yeah, that's more or less it for Rapport as well. Now for team recommendations, let me go in Arena Simulation again. Here, it's always running the single stage team. And I will say in general, like this guy, if you're running him as a utility unit or sub DPS, he doesn't care about anything. You just need to put him in the mirroring position as the enemy you want to target. So if there is an enemy, I don't know, let's take someone that is annoying, like, okay, let's take a Garam. So if Garam is there, you leave your Yasratcha here. And he's going to charm her, and then he's going to walk in, like in the middle of your team. And that's all you need to care about. The rest of the 4 units can be whatever your main or core team is. But if you want to run him as a main DPS, that is going to change quite a bit. Because again, as I mentioned, you need an Albelda. And then all you need is just actually a frontline unit. It could be basically anyone. You could go for a tanky Reflejo there, or you could go for literally guys anyone. You can go for Data Machine, Zahard, you can go for Calavan, really whatever you want, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is going to be Albelda and Yasratcha. Because Albelda is untargetable, this guy is untargetable as well while he's in daze, and she's going to reset daze super frequently. So it's going to be daze, special move that gives him invincibility. If you kill, great, he's going to cast daze again, so being untargetable, and no enemy will act because you only have 2 untargetable units. So they're going to stand there doing nothing, and then you're going to recharge your energy thanks to daze. You're going to cast the special move again, hopefully killing the enemy, casting daze again, or having the daze skill reset by Albelda, casting it again. So you keep on regenerating energy, keep on provoking enemies with the cat, keep on just doing damage with the special move, and the enemies will die one by one. This is what's like important for him as a main DPS. I would say instead of going here in arena simulation, let me just show you maybe, yeah, this last clear here that I used this comp I just mentioned that was shared to me by Well Played GGVP. So thank you, man, for sharing this interaction. And yeah, definitely you just need Reflejo there to, I don't know, stand there and tank a little bit. I think it died fairly quickly because we have a Misang, we have a Shibisu, so they're going to basically jump on him and destroy him. But here, the main enemy I thought was annoying is Irang, so I'm going to charm her, and that's about it. We're going to have a look at the replay and see what happened. You're going to see again Reflejo dying fairly quickly, and then Yasratcha just going basically 2v5 thanks to Albelda. Let's see. He's already dead. You can see here 75% damage. Then he's invincible thanks to Albelda. Daze again, untargetable. Attack again. He kind of missed, I think. Now he killed him. Daze cast again. Energy again. And then you see special move. Daze thanks to Albelda. Special move. Killed another one. Daze again. Special move. Daze again. Special move. And he's invincible. Okay, now Barry, I think, will help him. Yeah, Barry helped him to survive. And then easy kill with the last attack. As you can see, with just Albelda, he can actually act as a main DPS. And you don't care about the deficit here, because as you saw, like he's not really going to be attacked. And when he is, you have either the invincibility from Albelda or Barry effect. So he's quite durable. And the damage is max HP based, so regardless of the enemy stats, you're always going to deal 75% of their max HP, which is really, really massive, guys. So yeah, that's more or less all I wanted to mention for Yasratcha. Let me know in the comments if you have any doubts on whether to pull him or not. But yeah, this is basically my card review for him. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!